Hello. We are live. We got a fun live for you. Sam and my guest,
Shazad.
no,
Sheezy.
Sam and Sheezy here. We're going to be going live and answering questions and trying to teach a little bit as well as answer questions.
Let's
So
go.
if you're tuning in live, great. Let's have some fun. If you're watching the recording, this is going to be worth your time watching. So if you're just logging on, where are you from? Throw where you're from in the chat box. And if you've been a part of my lives before, then tell me, say yes. If you've never been a part of my lives before, say no. But throw where you're from in the chat box and, let me know if you've been a part of my lives before. Make sure to like, comment, and share. Everybody just hit that like button right now. It's not very freaking hard, and it helps us. Throw your questions in the chat box while we're getting going. We're going to have a good live. Here's what we're going to do on this live. We are going to talk about 3 ways to invest in real estate. So we're going to do a little bit of teaching.
Yep.
And then we're going to talk about a challenge we got coming up, which we're super excited about. And then we're going to do Q&A. So we're probably going to be live for 20 to 30 minutes. We're going to have fun. We're going to teach, educate. I'll probably make fun of Shazad a little bit. He can't really make fun of me
what
back.
What could you possibly make fun of me about?
How long you got? And then we're going to have fun, and then we're going to teach as well. So let's see where everyone is from before we kind of get into that agenda. So again, what does scale mean? Great question. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. I like it. Let's go, Robert. Love this. Got Nebraska. Got Boston. What's your
Boston? No, I can't.
Try it.
Boston. Harvard Yard.
The toilet? That was supposed to be a toilet. Was that?
We're so Midwestern. It's
right.
Ridiculous.
Okay. All right. Jared was here last week. Nice.
Welcome
Robert's
back,
never been a part of this. Is going to be awesome. Atlanta, Orange County. Where else are we from there? Michigan. I was watching on TikTok. Thank you for being here, Terry. What's up, fellas? Usually that's Dusty. I don't know why I always know that's Dusty, but that's probably Dusty. LA. Aaron, you know Aaron.
My boy Aaron. What's up, Aaron?
Harvard. Oh, somebody did it. Harvard Yardlid.
There you go.
What's that? What is that?
Harvard Yard.
Is there a yard in Harvard?
I guess. Okay. I just hear that.
South Africa,
never
nice. Albert, I think they'd kick me out. I feel like I'd burn. Like you going to like. All right. Connecticut, Denmark, awesome. Well, great. Well, I'm glad everybody's here. We're going to have fun on this live. Thank you. Let me know where you're from if you haven't, and if you haven't been a part of my lives, let me know. I'd like to. I do. Got Sheezy in here. We're going to talk about what's up, Josh. Josh is in the mentorship. So we're going.
What's up, Josh?
We're going to talk about 3 ways to invest in real estate. And again, keep your questions flowing in the chat box. We will get to every single one. You got 2 people's, 1.5 people's minds. So you got 1.5 minds. That's better than 1.
Yeah. Well, more than half of my real estate mind came from you. So
that's true.
It's like 1.25.
There you go. Perfect. I'll take it. All right. So 3 ways to invest in real estate. What are those 3 ways? I want some interaction. Again, if you're watching this after the fact, have fun and interact. So people have been a part of it before. What's going on? How do? I don't know if that means what's up. Lisa Johnson, Lisa Joe. All right. So we spelled them all wrong, but we got them all. There's wholesaling. There's flipping. I mean, we spelled all of them wrong, Robert, but that's okay. Rentals. You got that one right. That's okay. That's my favorite. You got them right. Keep the questions coming. We're going to get to all of them. I promise. So there's 3 ways to invest in real estate. That is wholesaling, rentals, and flipping. Let's talk about wholesaling. I want to say my favorite parts about wholesaling. Then I want you to say what your favorite part is, all right?
Love it.
So my favorite part about wholesaling is it does not require any money. It does not require any credit. And if you do it the right way, it does not have any risk. 0 risk, 0 money, 0 credit. If you do it the right way. Obviously, if you have money, it helps. If you have credit, it helps. But you don't have to have money or credit to wholesale real estate. So those are kind of the great things. But why don't you talk a little bit about wholesaling and how cool it is?
So those are really great points, right? My favorite part of wholesaling is really, it's just a great way to get into the business and make all those industry connections, because when you're wholesaling, you're getting properties under contract, and then you're assigning them to people who either flip houses or keep rental properties. So as you're learning the business, it's a great way to get connected with your local community and make some money and stack some capital so you can do other things.
I agree. So our goal on this is to help you become more educated in real estate for free. So hit that like button if you haven't. Give us a damn like or a share on YouTube if you're watching it. So I love that. One thing I wanted to talk about a little bit before we move on, and if you have any questions about wholesaling, throw them in the chat box. I honestly think, Shazad, if somebody spends 10 to 20 hours a month next year in 2022, they can make an extra 50 grand pretty easily, if not more, right?
For sure.
I think the average wholesaler around the country is probably 20 to 25. And you'll be able to get a handful. You might be able to make 100 grand working an extra 10 hours a month, guys, 20 hours a month. I'm not talking about quitting your job. If you have an extra 10 to 15 hours a month, you can make $50,000 to $100,000 extra next year without a ton of problem.
So let's just take that bottom number, right? The 50,000. So if you look at that, 50,000 divided by 12 is just over 4,000 a month. That's one deal a month. Like, that's not hard. I mean, you have to create your systems and processes and get good at it. But once you get the ball rolling, doing a deal a month, that's not a ton. You know what I mean?
And I think the average wholesale here in St. Louis is like 15 to 20, and we're on the lower end.
Right.
So I think the average is probably around the country is probably like 20. You'll probably get a $2,000 one, but you might get a $40,000 one. So you can easily make a lot of money. And we talk about how to do that quite a bit on this channel here. And if you want to know the best way to get deals, it's to drive for dollars. So screenshot this, write this down. The link's in the bio as well, but use the code SamFasterFreedom on DealMachine. You get a free trial. I don't get paid anything for your free trial. As I say, I get $0 for your free trial. I just know the owner. So use that app and that code if you want a free 7-day trial. If not, I don't really care that much. All right. So why don't you talk a little bit about the second great way to invest in real estate? I'll let you tee this one up.
So fixing and flipping is great because, it's a single transaction at a single point in time. And if that's what you like, rather than, managing tenants and refinancing, fixing and flipping is a great way to get into projects, get out of them, make your money, move on to the next. And really, as you're sitting there thinking about, well, which strategy is right for me, right? It really depends on you, your market, your strategy, what resonates with you the most. Me personally, I hate selling. I love keeping properties and holding them onto them forever, creating that generational wealth, being able to use the equity in those properties. So for me personally, I love holding on to rentals, but you may like, the easy, or the not easy, but the quicker, larger payout of fix and flips. Truth be told, most people use a blended approach. A lot of investors do rentals and flips at the same time, so they're sort of hitting it from both angles.
Yep. I mean, the whole goal is just finding discounted properties and using the best exit strategy. So, so that's a great lead up. So fixing and flipping, the beautiful thing about it is, again, you don't need any of your own money. Mm-hmm. Borrow money from a hard money lender or a private money lender. And if you have questions on where to find them, again, throw them in the chat box. I want to make sure we're going to get to questions here in about 3 minutes. So fill up that chat box with questions. And then we're going to get to them here in a minute. We want to finish talking about what we said we're going to talk about. So fixing and flipping is also because you don't need any of your own money. You can borrow money, buy it, fix it up, and sell it. Split the profits, give a percentage. You can make a lot of money. It's a little more risk. You're closing. You have to manage your rehab or pay somebody to manage your rehab. So there's some positives and negatives to pros and cons, but there's a lot of positives. So, if you're looking for a little bit more money and are willing to put a little bit more work and you need money now, maybe this is an option.
Yep, for sure.
I'm going to talk about this one first.
Go ahead.
It's my favorite.
You're the rental man.
All right, so this is the third one. This is my favorite. This is owning rental properties. In my opinion, this is the only way to create wealth if you don't already have money. If you don't have money like we did when we got started, how are you going to make money? How are you going to create wealth? You have to invest in the stock market. Well, you have to already have money to do that. You have to got crypto when it's low. You have to already have money to do that. And both of those are so volatile. The only way, and the way that over 90% of people create wealth, is through real estate, through owning rental properties. So it's my favorite. We talk about it all the time on this channel. We have a challenge coming up that you see there at the bottom that talks about how to we're going to talk a lot about how to get deals and how to buy rentals. So check that out. The link's in the bio as well. It's a pretty good deal.
Can I talk about the challenge
real quick? Yeah.
Okay. So I know we're not supposed to plug here. I know this is just for
you have 10 seconds. Better get to it.
All right. So the challenge, guys, it's 5 days where Sam and I host it every day, Monday through Friday, October 25th through 29th. So much content, so much information, so much insight from this guy who's been doing it the better part of a decade. Super worth it. Super valuable.
2-3 grand, right?
What's that?
2 or 3 grand for it?
No, it's $87.
Because I was
Can you
born
imagine that?
Because I was born in 1987, and it's on my birthday week. I turned 34 that Friday, so we made $87. Anyways,
$87.
No more plugging, but anyway, it's a really, really cool thing for really cheap if you want a little more level with us. So that is the three main ways that people invest in real estate: wholesaling, flipping, and renting. You can use your own money. You can use other people's money. Now let's get to some questions. Keep your questions in the chat box. We'll give you some free training here in a minute, but fill up that chat box with your questions. Let's get to them. So the first question that was asked a while ago was, what does scaling mean? So we talk about scaling a little bit. Why don't you break down the little acronym a little bit?
Yeah. So first of all, scaling in business means taking it from side hustle to fucking empire, right?
You can't say that word on here.
Sorry. But yeah, that's what scaling means. Anytime you scale anything up, at first you're going to do one property at a time as you're learning the business. But scale means going from, one property a year to one property a month. And there's systems and processes behind everything we do. And those systems and processes allow us to do things smarter, faster, and more efficient, which is basically what scale means.
And we talk a lot about that on this channel. And honestly, if you want to get our free training where we really dig into it, use that, go to there below. Again, the link to the challenge, the link to the free trainings in the description below. So if you're watching now, do that in a minute. If you're watching later, do it when we're done here. But there's the link to that as well. Free rental webinar. It's a free training I put on. And there's the link to the challenge, but they're in the description as well. So keep your questions coming. Let's get to them now. All right, let me scroll. A lot of people saying hi. We'll get to the questions here. Sorry, this isn't the best TV. A lot of people letting us know where they're from. I like it. Great question here. How do you like Roofstock? I have trouble reading. How do you like Roofstock platform for finding properties? So I'll go first, and then Sheezy can kind of clean it up. It's not a way to find distressed properties. It's not a way to use other people's money. You have to use your own money. You're buying into an already fixed up property. It's turnkey type of investment. So it's a good way to find solid investments. It's kind of like a REIT, but you can buy just portions of houses. Like you can own 10% of a house in, Texas or Oklahoma, and then you can get a little bit of money return on that. So that's cool, but you have to have money. If you want to do this without using any of your own money and scale, you have to use the BRRRR method. You have to, figure it out. We talk about on this channel, the free training and the challenge we'll talk about a lot, but you're not going to create wealth with Roofstock unless you already have a ton of money.
Correct. And yeah, well said. So Roofstock is, like you said, turnkey property. So the thing to keep in mind, guys, there's basically two types of properties as an investor, right? There's your turnkey, meaning you turn the key and it's ready to rent out. The other is, fixer-uppers, or what we call distressed properties, where you can go through a value add transition and create equity, create wealth through rehabbing that property. So we don't really play in the turnkey space a lot. So we're probably not the authorities on things like Roofstock.
I feel like this is for like people that have a ton of money and lawyers and
Roofstock.
That kind of investment.
So
hopefully answered that. I love this question. So stick around if you were wanting. So should we wait and let housing prices drop before you buy? What's the answer to that?
So listen, timing the market never works, right? Waiting to do something, like, to me, I think what a lot of people think of real estate, they look at prices on Zillow and Redfin, and that's retail, right? We don't buy those houses retail. We buy distressed properties, fix them up, and then sell them retail, right? So don't let, no offense, but what you think you might know about the housing market stop you from taking action in terms of learning and networking and getting into the right kinds of programs to learn how to do real estate investing the right way.
Yeah, for sure. So first off, who knows when they're going to dip or drop? It could be 2 years. It could be 8 years. Who knows? Nobody really knows. If they tell you they do, they're lying.
Yeah.
It's more likely to not drop than drop, in my opinion. But it's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. So yes, the market's doing this, but guess what? It doesn't matter what your houses are worth unless you're looking to sell or refinance. Sheezy taught me that one. So the market's going to do this over the next 25 years that I own them. It's going to go up, and lucky he's short, so I don't have to make this too high. The market's going to do this. What is the best? Yeah, the market's going to, what's that way? Yeah, I don't know. The market's going to do this over the next 25 years. So don't be worried about trying to time a little up and down. It's going to go up when you buy it now, if you buy it now and it dips in a couple years, which I don't think it will, guess what? In 15 years, it's probably going to be worth double what it is now. So the market's going to go up. That's what real estate does. 08 was the worst thing ever. That's not going to happen again. It still went back up. We just went through a global pandemic. It's still going up. So real estate goes up. So just getting on as quickly as you can is the most important thing. Look at this. Charles Shockley, CJ and
What's
Denny.
up, CJ? What's
You crazy
up, Denny?
nuts. All right. Here's a question on here. You read this one.
How do we find a good deal in an expensive market like LA? So yes, there obviously LA, San Francisco, New York City. There's a lot of Miami. There's a lot of markets that are really expensive. So the way you find the deals stays relatively the same market to market. You're connecting with wholesalers for off-market properties. Now, the bigger part of your question is, should I invest in a market like LA? And my honest opinion, if you're in a really expensive market like that, don't invest in that market. Look at other markets to invest in remotely. We have a ton of members in our mentorship program who live in California, live in Hawaii, live in Southern Florida. And these are awful markets to purchase rentals because it's so expensive. So what they do is they've learned through our mentorship program how to invest remotely in markets like the Midwest, Texas, Ohio, some of these really, really strong rental markets. And so that's what I recommend to everybody in an expensive market like that.
And if you want to find out more information on my mentorship, our mentorship, and you have Instagram, just send me messages there. But that's a great answer. I don't need to really beat a dead horse. You did it great. You can find deals in any market, whether it's downtown LA or smack dab in the middle of Oklahoma. You can find deals. Just is your market susceptible to what you want to do?
Yeah.
If you want to wholesale, LA is probably a really good market. I'm sure it's
Really
competitive, but you can wholesale there. You pay higher taxes because it's California, but you can wholesale just fine.
Flip.
You can also flip. It's just tough to own rentals. Mine just always goes to rentals.
Yeah.
But all right, here's a good question here. What would you recommend my first real estate investment be? I think it doesn't. You can do both. My suggestion would probably lean towards single family. It's just a little bit easier,
Yep.
Better, usually smaller dollar numbers, and it's just easier to sell a single family house than a multifamily. Both you can sell. You can sell multifamilies like that, if it's a good deal. So don't think that you're going to get stuck in a multifamily forever. But single family is just a little bit easier. So if I had to pick, I would pick single families. But it doesn't mean your first house or your first property can't be a nice 8-unit somewhere, 10-unit. You can for sure do that.
Yeah, and the stuff that you learn in the single family business, it's really translatable as you step up in asset classes, whether it's a duplex, 4, 10, or 12. All those things you're going to be learning, the fundamentals of it. I would suggest doing it in single family because it's a lot less risk. You can always sell it on the retail market. To me, single family is a great place to learn the real estate business. And if you want to scale up, God bless.
Look at that. You're learning.
Yeah, man.
Hit that ding. He just dropped some knowledge. So we're going to drop the mic. I'm kidding.
No, that's expensive.
I didn't do it.
All right.
Hopefully I didn't screw it up. All right. Mute still on. We're good. No mute. All right. Make sure to hit the like button if you have not. Like this, share this, whatever. If we're watching it now, we're watching the recording, like it and share it. We're trying to help people. All right. Chuck. So we're about 8 to 10 minutes behind on questions. So if you ask a question, stay here. If you just asked a question a couple minutes ago, we're going to get to it. All right, Chuck, since single family houses are high in demand right now, is multifamily better value? No, not really. We buy at a discount off of market price, whether it's multis or singles. So either way, the market's crowded. People are realizing what we've known for years, that real estate investing is the best investment you can make. So hedge fund money, Wall Street money, lawyer money, people that have money are coming into the space. So it's crowded in singles and multis. You just got to try to find a good deal no matter what space you're wanting to get into.
Yep.
Cool. You got this one?
Do you cash out refinance your BRRRR property with a residential loan or commercial loan? If commercial loan, how does it differ when it comes to calculating ARV? So the way we do it is all commercial loans, right? You set up an LLC, you get an EIN, you set up a business checking account, and you're pursuing banks that do a specific lending product. And that specific lending product is a commercial loan, 80% cash out refi. Right. Not every bank offers this product, so you got to be very targeted in how you find those banks. But yeah, we do commercial loans. And then the second part of the question is, how does it differ when it comes to calculating ARV?
It doesn't.
Yeah, one has nothing to do with the other. Your ARV is your ARV. The type of loan you do is obviously there's some.
Great question, though. Yeah.
Yep.
Again, just kind of follow up on that. Same dude, Joe. If with a residential loan, you're 10 in your residential name, you're right. Then after that, it's commercial. That's why I just started out with commercial, just so they don't want to be slowed down. And eventually, they start to lean on your business. If you're doing it in your name, they're always going to look at your personal credit. I don't think you can scale this quickly. I don't know that unless you're making a crap ton of money, someone's going to give you 5 residential loans in 1 year. I think you have to spread it out.
Yeah.
But 5 commercial loans in a year is nothing if they're performing.
So I bought my first 4 properties under my personal name, and then I met Sam about a year and a half ago, and I bought more properties in that time than I did the previous 4 years. And I bought my first 4. There you go.
Why is he supposed to laugh?
So I bought my first 4 under my personal name, and if I could go back and do it all over again, I would have done what we're talking about. Create an LLC, put everything in there. It just keeps things separate and organized, and it doesn't affect your DTI. It doesn't affect any of that because everything is under your LLC, and I own 100% of the LLC.
You get a little better terms with the residential, but honestly, it's not worth it because you develop relationships with these small banks anyway.
Right.
I'm a long haul trucker. You can definitely wholesale, especially if you,
Sure.
especially if you're willing to talk on the phone. You got a lot of time, Bluetooth, just make cold calls, do that kind of thing. You'd for sure wholesale. That's a great way to pass the time is to make calls.
Absolutely.
Chris, is there such thing as a real estate lease to be purchased? Yes, you can. I mean, there's the let me give you again some stuff to use, but you can purchase leads basically at Batch Leads. So download Batch Leads, use our code. Again, it's a free trial. We don't get paid anything for your free trial. So go to Batch Leads, download that. It's a place that you can buy list of distressed houses. Like you can stack them. They'll teach you. It's not complicated, but it's definitely several steps. I'm not going to get into here, but they teach you to do it. In the DealMachine, you can do the same thing and you can drive for $1. So if you're wanting to find cheap or free ways to get deals, download the DealMachine app, download the Batch Leads app, and use our code for a 7-day free trial on both. And after that, then if you don't like it, just cancel it.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
How to find
private money.
All right. How to find private.
First off, I have 4 videos on my YouTube on it. We go into crazy detail like this in the mentorship and the challenge that I talked about. We talk about it a lot there. But anyways, you go give them some.
Yeah, so I'll tell you a little bit of my story. So now that I've done a few BRRRR deals, now I'm really having some great conversations with private lenders where, a year ago, the conversations weren't going so great because I hadn't actually done any. But now that I've done some, we call it proof of concept, right? So now that these private lenders I've been talking to have this proof of concept, I can show them what I've done and they can see that I'm a decent operator. Now they're more willing to have that private money talk with me. A year ago, I didn't really have that option. So I'll say this as well. Most investors, and I mean 90+% investors, start out using hard money lenders, right? And then once you've done this 2, 3, 4, 5 times, people are going to start paying attention to that. And people are going to, believe it or not, private money often finds you rather than you finding private money. I think you can explain that way better.
Yeah, I mean, you explained it well. Yeah, that's I always tell people, eventually private money will find you. So just be active, talk about it at parties, talk about it at family reunions, talk about it on Instagram, talk about it on Facebook, if they're not shut down. Talk about it on those platforms, and you will get money coming to you. In the meantime, use hard money lenders. There's a great question that tees right into this. In the meantime, use hard money lenders or wholesale. I would think if you've done 3 or 4 wholesales, a private lender will probably come to you as well. You're just proving that you understand the concept of investing in real estate. Hard money lenders are super easy to find. If you're in Missouri, in St. Louis area, Faster Funds is the no-brainer, the best hard money lending company. Probably in the Midwest, if not country, we have other hard money lending companies. Contact them and get trained on how to have good hard money lending companies. So use them, but easy. Just Google hard money lenders near me. Mr. M. I'm not
Magesh.
Magesh.
I'm gonna shamelessly plug one more time. I know you said not to, but listen, in the 5-day challenge, Sam and I spend time really going into what do those hard money lender conversations sound like? What should you be asking? How should you approach the conversation? There's really, both an art and a science to it. So we really roll up our sleeves and go into that content during the 5-day challenge.
I like it. Get some questions. It just scrolled down the bottom, so I missed a couple. I'm sorry, but we will get to as many as we can. Here's a good one. How do we keep buyers from talking to sellers when they do? So you have the property under contract. So if Shazad's the seller, he signed on a legal document that he's selling me the house.
Right.
I'll bring buyers in there, and usually the sellers out there, sometimes they are, but they can't legally go around that contract. You can sue. I mean, not that, but you have a good relationship with the seller, and I have a good relationship with Shazad, and I could sue him if he tries to go. So, I mean.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, once you have a property under contract, you don't want to market the property or even tell anybody the address until you have it under contract. But once you have it under contract, that's your transaction.
I like it. There's a couple other questions about private money and hard money. I feel like we kind of hit those pretty good, so we're going to move past those. Again, I have other YouTube videos on it, and then the challenge, and of course the mentorship, we talk about it. A big risk of flipping with supply shortages is price. So a risk, so the supplies are up a little bit to flip, but most of you hopefully are not buying a ton of wood. Hopefully you're just doing cosmetic rehab, especially if it's your first couple ones. You're not doing a ton of, like, you can still get cabinets, you can still get flooring, you can still get all that, and it's getting better. But the price go up a little bit. But guess what? The house price is going up way more. In the next 3 months, that house is going to probably be worth $10,000 to $15,000 more than you bought it for. So an extra $2,000 in supplies shouldn't kill your deal, if those kind of make sense.
Yeah, and by the way, you should be looking at deals that have meat on the bone. Right, you're not trying to make $5,000 or $10,000 off a flip. You're buying that house at a discount. You're getting a good deal on it, so that if you do a good rehab, you should be able to make at least $20,000 off of a flip, at least.
For sure. How do you calculate ARV, Sheezy?
How do you calculate the ARV after rehab?
Well, you calculate it before, but then it's the same process. But just talk about how to figure out ARV.
So ARV is just pulling. It has nothing to do with the rehab. You're comparing. You're finding 3 sold comps within a quarter mile sold in the last 3 months, right? So 3 comps in the last 3 months within a quarter mile. And
we should make it third. We should just keep the 3s. 3 houses, third of a mile.
Love it.
3 months. Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Perfect. No, that and that's your ARV, right? Now your rehab tells you, how you can do an all the way rehab, and that way you're fetching, top of the market value. If you do sort of a mediocre rehab, you're going to adjust that down. And then if you go kind of shitty on the rehab, obviously your price or appraisal will reflect that, right? But buyers are savvy, right? If there's a house right down the street, a similar configuration that just sold a month ago, same configuration, same type of rehab, there's a good ARV indicator right there.
The rule of 3.
Yep.
Gonna coin that.
Love it.
It's usually you coining that kind of stuff. Third, 3 and a third. All right.
Let's do it.
All right. Are you looking for houses to wholesale? What should you look for? Like, how bad a condition? The condition, it's going to be distressed, especially in today's market. It's going to be distressed no matter what, just because you're not going to find deals on decent to good houses, because there is a shortage of discounted houses, or shortage of houses in general. However, we've wholesaled houses that have the basement walls falling in. There's no back to the house. We've wholesaled houses that just need paint and carpet. So it really just kind of depends. You're just trying to find a house at a discount that you can add value to by fixing it up. So you're just naturally going to need some work, but it could need 10 grand. It could need 150 grand. It really doesn't depend. You just look for houses you can buy cheap, and then you just run your numbers with how much rehab it means. It doesn't matter how much it needs, especially if you're wholesaling it. You just need to know what that rehab is.
Yep. Well said.
Hit that like button if you haven't. Here you go. Get this one, Sheezy.
How do you know when looking to buy a house that it won't cost too much to fix it, where you won't make any money off of it? So this is all the analysis, right? So when you're underwriting a deal, when you're analyzing a deal, you're assessing 2 things: the ARV and the rehab estimate. Everything else is arithmetic that you plug into the MAO formula. We talk about that a ton in our challenge and our mentorship. But yeah, you're doing all this analysis on the front end. You want 0 surprises. Obviously, things are going to come up, but if you're going to be an investor, you want to understand these formulas, understand how to use them. These are our basic tools of the trade. For sure.
And then real quick, again, I think we got to these, but Brian just answered. We talk about this all the time, but a couple quick sources to find deals are this app. Use that code. It's free trial, 7-day. This app, use that code, free trial. Screenshot it or go back and pause it. Don't want to spend too much time on it.
Let's go.
Let's keep rocking. All right. More comments. Should I set up an LLC before investing? I suggest it. You don't have to. A lot of people wait a while. Eventually, most people that grow a decent sized portfolio or do wholesales or flips, they do have an LLC because it makes sense. For keeping accounting purposes, tax purposes, all that stuff. But I suggest doing it just for the mindset of it. Like you have an LLC, you have a business card, you create a logo, you're a business. You probably have a full-time job, you're doing this on the side, but you're a business owner. That's freaking cool, as opposed to, put it this way, Sheezy, and then you clean this up a little bit. But I feel like you're going to be the percentage of people that start LLCs right away and look at it as a business on the side, as opposed to people that look at it as a hobby and don't set up an LLC. Those people that set up the LLC, just simply doing that and getting that mindset, probably those people are much more successful than the people that, I'm not going to set up an LLC. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm just going to try it a little bit, as opposed to setting up that LLC.
So that is such a powerful point, and I want everyone to really sort of tune into that. Man, that's powerful, right? So one of the, when I was, before I met Sam, I was just watching YouTube videos, and I remember one of the first videos I watched was where Sam was talking about when him and Lucas were sitting at the bar on LegalZoom on the laptop and setting it up, right? And they were kind of going through the motions, but when they got that paperwork back, and when it said, the name of your company, your EIN,
WA,
right, I wasn't going to say it. But guys, there's real power in that, right? When you have your company with your EIN, I mean, you're legit now, right? And that leads to just healthier business practices, healthier mindsets about the business. And it just creates an air of legitimacy and credibility, in my opinion.
I love it. And I got there, Kyle. I've shown the apps twice now. It's DealMachine and PropStream. But after this, just go back and pause on them. Or the links in the bio for the challenge that we've been shamelessly plugging. But it's $87 freaking for hours of training. So that's like giving it away, basically. The free training. And then the codes to those apps are in the description below. EIN is employment identification number. It's basically your social security number for your business.
Yep.
All right. He said, I will attend that. Awesome. Good. Hopefully you're talking about the challenge. All right. So Corey, how do you get approved to buy more than one property? Because it's good debt. Small local banks or small credit unions who you're going to go to do these loans, they need to do loans like this to stay in business. And they look at you a little bit for sure to see if they trust you, but they mainly look at the deal. They look at the debt service coverage ratio, which we don't need to go into details, but basically they look at if it's a solid house that's been great, that's been rehabbed nicely, that has a tenant in place paying rent, they're probably going to approve you. And as you keep doing that, they feel more secure. They have one loan with you. That's kind of risky for both of you. But if they have 25 loans with you and like something happens, you miss a payment on one, they feel like they have more collateral and more leverage having all those properties. So there's not really a set rule. They're not just going to let you approve you for unlimited properties right away, but just building that relationship and proving proof of concept we talked about earlier, proving that you can perform and it's a good house and you know how to manage it well. They're just going to keep giving you loans because that's how they stay in business.
Can I build on that?
Yes, build.
So I run the mentorship program for Faster Freedom, and this question comes up a lot, or this type of question, right? And one of the hardest things to do with new real estate investors is to break that old mindset, the things they think they know about real estate, right? Traditionally, home buyers, you can only buy one house at a time because you're getting approved through a bank, through FHA or Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, those sorts of things. Our world, real estate investing, has very little to do with the traditional, conventional ways of buying houses. So I think that's what this question is all about. How do you get approved to buy more than one property? It's a super common thing in our world. It's standard industry practice. So getting out of that sort of consumer mindset where I'm looking for properties on Zillow for me and my house, for me and my family to live in, that's totally different than our techniques and systems and processes on the investing side.
I like it. Magish asked how to set up a LLC. You just, Magish, there's three different ways, main ways. One is contact a lawyer, real estate investing lawyer. Just contact other real estate investors or just look them up, Google them. The other way would be LegalZoom. And then the third way would be just doing it yourself. I've set up most of mine now that we have a good operating agreement and everything. So I don't know if I'd set up the first one by myself. I would do LegalZoom or a lawyer.
Yep.
Here, Aaron's got a question. Your boy, Aaron. Rumswanger.
How do you find a good management company, and how do you know if they are a good one? So that's a really good question, right? So what I would do is, Aaron, as you're building your portfolio, I would say for your first 1 or 2 or 3, if not a few more, I would say spend some time managing them yourself, right? And understanding what that world is like. Because as you scale, there'll be plenty of opportunity to delegate that. But if you do it yourself for the first 1 or 2, you're going to start to see what's important to you as a landlord. Like, do you want your tenants to clean out the gutters, or are you going to send someone over to do that, right? There's no right or wrong way to do this. So every landlord is a little bit different with their own standard operating procedures. But unless you do that a little bit yourself when you're still kind of, beginning, you're not going to know how to build it and scale it if you don't have any firsthand knowledge. So I would say start there, and then I'll let you take it from there.
No, I think that's good. Just start there, but also good property management companies will have reviews online. They'll get references from people that use them. Treat it like a job interview. Get references and just see that they're, you want them to treat your property well. But just as important, or more importantly, you want them to treat the tenant well. So just make sure you do that. Want to hit that one real quick, Sheezy, while I pull up some stuff?
I love the name, Melvin. A name so nice. They said it twice.
Couscous.
All right. What is a house on or under contract means? Okay. Wow. All right. So when 2 parties agree to transact land and title, right? That's basically all that means. If I have a house that I'm looking to sell, and Sam, whether he's a wholesaler or an investor, says he's going to buy that house, we sign a contract, and from the time we sign the contract until the closing date, that period of time, that's when you're under contract. I think I answered that question.
That makes sense. Good. Awesome. Well, Sheezy,
Yes.
make sure that you all don't embarrass them. All right. So anyways, hopefully we do this every Wednesday. So hopefully you guys had fun with us. Make sure you're following SamFasterFreedom on TikTok, on YouTube, and Instagram. All 3 platforms. I can do different things on the platforms. I have time restrictions or certain editing restrictions. So all 3 platforms, if you want the full experience, make sure to go to. All right, we'll leave that alone. All right, make sure we have fun. So make sure you go to fasterfreedom.com/level up if you want information on our challenge. It starts in a couple weeks. It's on my birthday week. October 29th is my birthday. That's when the challenge ends. I was born in 87, so that's why we're charging $87 for that. It's 5 days of amazing training, a bunch of freebies and giveaways in there, as well as go to FasterFreedom or go to Free Rental Webinar. All the links that we discussed today between the free training, the challenge, the apps we use to find deals are all in the description below. We go live every single Wednesday. We like to have fun, like to give free advice. But if you want to be wealthy, and you want to create wealth, we help you do it because we've done it and are doing it. So hope you had fun.
Join us on the challenge, guys. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be more than awesome. I'm going to arm wrestle Shazad now. Ready?
No.